We took the train from Salzburg to Prague, which was about a 6-hour travel time. After a few communication snafus, we made it to our Airbnb, which has a lovely view from the 5th floor, but also has a pretty major construction project going on outside. We did know this before we got here though. We set out into the neighborhood to try out some local brews and to check out the Czech cuisine. The language barrier has been a little bit more of an issue here than it was in either Germany or Salzburg, but after some diligent practice and some advice from some kind servers, we've been able to master at least a few words that get us by. Our first few days in Prague were rather overcast, but we were excited to get out in the city and check out the amazing architecture and do some walks along the river. We ended up in Old Town and at the famous Charles Bridge, which is notoriously crowded at almost all times of the day. But we braved the crowd and made the walk across, which was really awesome. There's some amazing statues, tons of people selling things, some performers, and had a great time enjoying the view. This actually wasn't even that busy of a day. We've been back another time and it was even busier, but just to get an idea of the crowds. David Černý is a Czech artist who has a lot of very interesting modern pieces around the city, including this one called the Rotating Head. We made our way to the main square, passing lots of interesting little touristy shops. Our goal was to see the astronomical clock, which chimes every hour on the hour with a little show that people gather for quite some time before in order to see. We are here at the astronomical clock waiting for it to go off, which is going to happen in about 10 minutes, and there are tons of people gathering already. So we just decided to sidle up and grab a drink while we are waiting, and then I will head out and take some video of it shortly when it starts to go off. So honestly, I wasn't super impressed by the astronomical clock. It was a little bit underwhelming, but glad to have seen it, and the clock itself is cool, just the show is not super exciting. There are tons of venues all over the city that offer live performances of orchestra, ballet, and opera. We checked out some of these cool cars that you can tour around the town in, and then we headed into this really neat pub to have some dinner before we head to our show later this afternoon. This seemed to be the Rodeo Drive of Prague, with Versace and Gucci and Prada on every single corner wherever you looked. Needless to say, we did not make any purchases. We made our way back to the St. Charles Bridge and towards the St. Clement Church, where we had tickets for a performance later that night. We've been on a mission to see all the cool free things that are to do in Prague, and Troy did not disappoint this day when he found us some really neat finds. It's the second largest grounds in Prague, and it's also the site of the Senate since 1996.
So how did you like the garden?
It was amazing. What a surprising little spot this is.
Well, stay tuned. You're going to even be more amazed.
Okay. Our next stop was the narrowest street in Prague. It even has a traffic light, so you can tell who is going down and who is coming up. When you get to the bottom of it, you are at a dead end. There is a restaurant down there, but if you're not going to the restaurant, well then really the only thing to do is turn around and head back up. So amazing.
It was amazing.
Gingerbread is popular in Prague, so we had to stop when we saw this cute little shop. You get the honor of biting the head off.
What the heck? Good. Peanut butter, no, chocolate and jelly gingerbread man.
We came across a few more of David Černy's modern, interesting, and discussion-provoking pieces. What do you think? We went to the grocery store today and also ran into a farmer's market where we got some vegetables and some fruit. And so I just kind of wanted to show what it costs. It's about $75 for all this food and some beers. And the last time we went to the grocery store, it lasted us about 5 days. We got a couple treat things like this delicious looking strudel. And so that was a little bit more, and the berries were a little bit more expensive. So we probably could have gotten away with a little bit less than that. But overall, looks like a pretty delicious haul for the week. So yesterday and this morning were pretty rainy here in Prague. So we spent a pretty nice day yesterday just hanging out in our apartment and doing pretty much nothing. Which is nice to be able to do when you're retired and slow traveling. You can take a day to just do a lot of nothing. But today we are venturing out and we are going to explore the Strahov Monastery.
Yeah, they make beer there.
The Strahov libraries are some of the most valuable and well-preserved historical libraries, with over 200,000 volumes. They only let a limited number of people actually into the libraries each day because the humidity from our bodies as humans can actually degrade the volumes over time. The monastery also had these cabinets of curiosities which showcased unique or unusual items. We also enjoyed walking through the Strahov Gallery. My number one takeaway? Painting babies' faces was really challenging back then, and most of them ended up looking like a 47-year-old tax accountant for some reason.
That was very interesting. We just had a nice walk through the monastery museum and saw some globes of the earth and countries and what they were called, hundreds of years ago. That was really cool. Very interesting.
So now we're headed to your favorite part.
Where they make beer?
We're gonna go probably check out the brewery that they have here. The view from the grounds is just spectacular, and we decided from there to hike up to the Petrin Tower, which you can see there. They call it Le Petit Eiffel Tower for obvious reasons. We did not go up in it this time, but we may come back and do that at another date. We saw these cool little hole in the wall restaurants and bars probably the first day that we were down here walking, and so we came back down to find one and try it out, but they look a little bit warm and stuffy inside, so we opted to sit outside instead. We enjoyed the cool breeze and a beverage sitting by the river to finish up our first week in Prague.